Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. My name is Kitty Behel. We are starting this edition with the top focus. The centre has cancelled the UGC NET exam 2024. The government today said that the NET exam has been compromised and so it's cancelling the exam. Remember, the NTA had conducted the exam just 48 hours back. And what we are learning at the moment is that according to the press release by the Ministry of Education, the inputs that were received by the MHA have led to this decision. Now, the National Testing Agency is on test. This is the agency that had conducted the NEET exam earlier, which is also the matter is also in the Supreme Court at the moment. Now, with regards to the NET exam, the government has ordered a CBI probe in the matter. Well, the Congress party has also reacted, asking, will the education minister answer? This is a tweet by Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, in which she said that the laxity and corruption of the BJP government is fatal for the youth after the news of scam in NEET exam. Now, the NET exam held on 18 June has also been cancelled due to the fear of irregularities. Will accountability be fixed now? Will the education minister take responsibility for this lax system? My colleague Maria gets us more.
It's the agency which is supposed to be ensuring that there's free and fair, examinations all over the country. That is failing in its part. I remember interviewing the education minister, and he had said that if there is even, a small allegation against NTA, action will be taken against NTA officials. Now, this is an acceptance by the NTA that the UGC NET exam which was held, there were discrepancies, and hence they have decided to cancel it, and they've gone a step further that it will be investigated by the CBI because there are certain aspects which require further investigation. I think the NTA perhaps had reports, as they are suggesting, from Ministry of Home Affairs that the examination process was compromised and they did not want to face any kind of backlash, and hence they have taken this preemptive move. But I think what will happen tomorrow is be prepared for this entire story becoming even more political, and the students of NEET who are protesting all over the country will realize that there would be certain other aspects of NEET which is perhaps not really explored, because the case of NEET students is presently with the Supreme Court.
Right. Now, the opposition has also upped the ante against the centre over the NEET controversy. To further intensify their protest against the NDA government in the alleged NEET irregularities, the Congress decided to hold a nationwide protest on Friday, demanding justice for the NEET candidates. Well, the DMK government in Tamil Nadu has also announced a protest against NEET. Well, earlier in the week, the court had ordered the NTA to take responsibility of any negligence in the conduct of the NEET exam 2024. Now, BJP leader Annamalai has hit out at the state government in Tamil Nadu over the alleged politics over NEET. Listen in.
Examination process has to be foolproof, no doubt about that. But Honorable CM Stalin, Tamil Nadu, politicizing it and going to town saying no, 24th I'm calling a statewide protest. I'm asking all the India Alliance leaders to oppose. Where is it going to end? The whole idea of NEET, NEET this year is the best year for Tamil Nadu. NEET 2024 is the best year because 1,52,000 of our students participated, 89,426 passed, meaning pass percentage of 59%. This is the highest ever in the last 5 years. Many all India toppers from Tamil Nadu. Last year all India topper from Tamil Nadu. It only shows NEET is working.
All right, we'll keep an eye on the developments on that. Meanwhile, some more news that we're tracking at the moment. It's Shiv Sena's 58th Foundation Day, and both factions, that is the Shinde Sena and Uddhav Sena, had organized separate events to celebrate the party's Foundation Day. Well, a Sena versus Sena fight once again erupted with Uddhav Thackeray slamming Eknath Shinde, saying that the Chief Minister must use his father's name instead of using our party symbol. Eknath Shinde had also hit back at Uddhav Thackeray. Listen in to what Uddhav Thackeray had said.
तर शिवसेना प्रमुखांचा फोटो न लावता, माझ्या शिवसेनेचं नाव न लावता, धनुष्यबाण नाव चोरायचं नाही, वडील चोरायचे नाहीत, धनुष्यबाण चोरायचं नाही, धनुष्यबाण बाजूला ठेवा, नवीन निशाणी घ्या, मिंद्याच्या वडिलांचा फोटो लावा आणि या समोर.
All right. Well, my colleague Radhika joins us on the broadcast, getting us more on that. Well, Radhika, different stage, but the flashpoint remains the same. Uddhav Thackeray there in that event that was organized by the Uddhav Thackeray Sena party, hitting out at Eknath Shinde at his camp, saying that he must be using his own father's name instead of using our party symbol. And Eknath Shinde also hit back.
Absolutely. It was high-octane show of strength by both Uddhav Thackeray as well as Eknath Shinde on Shiv Sena Foundation Day. Sena versus Sena once again playing out the battle, of course, heating up. Scathing attacks by both the leaders. In fact, while Uddhav says Shinde should stop using Bala Saheb Thakray's photo for elections and should instead use his own father's photo, Shinde also slamming Uddhav for straying away from Hindutva ideology, therefore saying he also shouldn't be using Bala Saheb's name for the sake of votes. And also speaking about Lok Sabha election results, Shinde says traditional Sena voters did not vote for Uddhav in Lok Sabha elections. He said in the entire political atmosphere, the root support of Shiv Sena did not shift. They did not move away from bow and arrow, and that out of the real voters of Sena, which is 19%, Shinde Sena's claim they got 14%. Also going on to say, saying that you betrayed Bal Thackeray for votes to Uddhav. We won 7 places in Lok Sabha. We could have won many more. Uddhav, on the other hand, saying Modi, Prime Minister Modi should start campaign for assembly elections in Maharashtra.
Right.
And him saying that this will be you versus me battle. Also rubbishing speculations about both the Sena factions joining hands and him joining the NDA. He says he would never go with those who tried to finish off his party. So certainly war of words there, and both continuing to fight this ideological and identity battle.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Radhika, for getting us all those details there. Well, Maharashtra Assembly polls will also take place in a few months from now, and the fight between the Uddhav Sena and the Shinde Sena intensifying there. We'll keep an eye on the developments there. Meanwhile, some more news now. It's been a hot, blistering June in North India with record-breaking temperatures and no respite in the night either. There have been 15 recorded deaths in Delhi NCR that have been reported by 2 top hospitals in the capital. And now the government has ordered that hospitals must have heat wave units and must prioritize heat stroke patients. Well, in the midst of this, the people of Delhi are facing a water shortage crisis. The BJP had taken to the streets attacking the Aam Aadmi Party government, while Delhi Water Minister Atishi had written to the Prime Minister to intervene in the matter.
The 52-year-old Sharda lives in a shanty outside Safdarjung Hospital in Delhi. Her home, out in the open, gives little protection from the relentless heat. Sharda and her family have been living here for the past 15 years with no electricity or even a reliable water supply. This as the capital reels under a scorching heat wave where 45-degree temperature feels like 50 degrees.
मेरे हस्बैंड की फागुन के महीना में 11 तारीख को रात को एक्सपायर हो गई यहीं बस स्टैंड पे। बिजली के भी मुश्किल है बेटा, कि यहाँ मीटर ईटर नहीं है कुछ भी, और पानी की भी परेशानी है। फिर अपने पीने के लिए उधर उधर से लाते हैं भर के, गुजारा करते हैं अपना जैसा करते हैं तैसे।
Sharda's story is not an isolated one.
यहाँ हम अपना इलाज कराने आए हैं, अपना नाना श्री के इलाज कराने आए हैं। मेरा यहाँ अच्छा से इलाज हो रहा है, लेकिन फिर भी यहाँ इतना धूप पड़ने बहुत कष्ट हो रहा है। यहाँ रहते हुए जिंदगी बचाने के मरता क्या नहीं करता है वो, इसलिए
The killer heat wave has already claimed several lives in Delhi.
Well, the mortality rate from heat stroke is very high. It is almost 60 to 70%. There is definitely a lack of awareness, right? Many of the patients are illiterate also, they're poor also. And a lot of these patients that come to us, they are laborers, migrant laborers.
And to add to that is a punishing water crisis where citizens suffer and the issue has triggered daily protests and a political face-off. Delhi BJP marched with mud cars to the Delhi Jal Board office demanding answers from the Delhi Jal Board. Delhi Water Minister Atishi, on the other hand, has written to the Prime Minister seeking his intervention in getting surplus water from Haryana, or else she has threatened to sit on a hunger strike.
21 तारीख तक दिल्ली वालों को अपने हक का पानी नहीं मिलता, अगर दिल्ली में 28 लाख से ज्यादा लोग इस तरह बूंद बूंद पानी के लिए तरसते रहे, तो फिर 21 तारीख से मुझे पानी के लिए सत्याग्रह शुरू करना पड़ेगा।
हमने जल बोर्ड के अधिकारियों को 24 घंटे का अल्टीमेटम दिया है कि 24 घंटे के अंदर जहाँ क्षेत्र की समस्याएं आ रही हैं वहाँ पानी पहुँचाएं, अन्यथा इनका घेराव दोबारा किया जाए।
Delhi is enduring an unprecedented dual challenge of scorching heat wave and an acute water shortage crisis. However, it is really these people living in these tents on the pavement who are doubly disadvantaged. What remains the broader question is that what is the way out of such climate change conditions, and when will the politics of water give way to a solution? In Delhi, with Kamal Kant, Sachin Gupta, Tanushka Datta, Ishika Verma for NDTV.
Well, now Delhi Health Minister Saurabh Bhardwaj has written to Union Home Secretary. In his letter, he's questioned the Delhi government health secretary's absence during this time. He said that he only came to know on June 13 that the health secretary had gone on a month's leave without the permission of the minister, and that too at a time when temperature was breaking all records and the health department becomes a critical department in making arrangements to provide assistance to those who are affected or are suffering. Well, my colleague Ishika gets us more.
Delhi government versus the bureaucracy here, and this time it is on the heat wave conditions. Now, in this new letter that Saurabh Bhardwaj, the health minister and the Delhi government has written to the Home Secretary, he has said that the health secretary went on a leave, on a month leave, and Saurabh Bhardwaj, the minister in that department, was only able to know this on in fact 13th of June. And now in this letter, Saurabh Bhardwaj questions that how can the health secretary, who's the top official of that department, go on a month's leave, that too without the permission of the minister, and especially at a time when we are seeing that the heat wave conditions are very severe, and in that condition the health department becomes very critical in arranging for the patients in the hospitals as well. Now, Saurabh Bhardwaj has also said that during the fire in the nursing home as well, he had questioned the absence of the health secretary, and then too he had written to the home secretary asking that action should be taken. Now, this time he has said that no action was taken at that time. He is yet to hear from the home secretary regarding that. But this time he has raised questions saying that who has permitted such long leave to the health secretary, what action has been taken against the health secretary, and how will a critical department like health function when the head of the department goes on a long leave and does not respond to any call or messages. So certainly it is yet again, war of words between the Delhi government and the bureaucracy. We are yet to get any response from the bureaucracy sources over this.
All right, we'll get you more on that as developments take place. Meanwhile, some more news now that we're tracking at the moment. Prime Minister Modi will be celebrating this year's International Day of Yoga on June 21st on the banks of Dal Lake in Srinagar in Jammu Kashmir. As many as 3,000 to 4,000 people are expected to attend the event. PM Modi will be arriving in Srinagar tomorrow evening, and ahead of that, security has been heightened. The counter-terror forces have also launched a crackdown against terror-related activities in Jammu Kashmir ahead of Prime Minister Modi's visit. Well, my colleague Nazir gets us more information on that.
It is going to be a mega event, rather first event since the G20 meeting in Srinagar, major event in Srinagar. So after election, we see Prime Minister coming here. This election was a record of sorts when it comes to people participating in democratic process, and now people are waiting for assembly election, as Prime Minister himself during the election campaigning has promised that besides holding elections, the government will restore the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir, which was snatched from it on 5th of August 2019. We'll have to see what, other than the yoga, what Prime Minister is going to do. There are development projects, there are, interaction with the startups, entrepreneurs, spokespersons, and all that. There are a host of things Prime Minister is doing here. But the larger message is, while there are, maybe some attacks in the Jammu region, particularly militant attacks on the security forces, then terror attacks on Yatris, or in the valley, on the banks of Dal Lake, Prime Minister himself leading the country to celebrate 10th International Yoga Day. Last year, Prime Minister had celebrated it at the United Nations headquarters in New York, and this year he has chosen to celebrate 10th International Yoga Day in Srinagar. Clearly a big message from, Prime Minister.
All right, with that, it's time for a short break here. More continues on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back after the break. More shocking details have emerged in the murder case of Karnataka man Renukaswamy, in whose death Kannada actor Darshan is allegedly involved, along with 16 other people. Well, 33-year-old Renukaswamy was allegedly brutally tortured before he was killed, possibly hit with wooden clubs, and could have been administered electric shocks, according to a 300-page second remand application that has been filed by the Bengaluru police before the court.
As the Bengaluru police seeks further custody of Darshan, Pavitra Gowda and 15 other accused for investigation in the horrific Renukaswamy murder case, the remand application from the investigators confirmed chilling details of the crime and the way the victim was allegedly tortured and killed on the 8th of June. According to the 300-page remand application filed by the police, the post-mortem report of 33-year-old Renukaswamy revealed that he suffered multiple blunt injuries and died due to shock from hemorrhage. He could have been assaulted with wooden clubs and tied by a rope. He could have been subjected to electric shocks. The body dumped at a stormwater drain along with the victim's mobile phone. Actor Darshan allegedly paid 30 lakh rupees for disposing the body. Darshan also paid some of the accused to hide his role. This is the first time that the police have officially confirmed the gruesome details of alleged torture and killing of 33-year-old Renukaswamy, the case in which Kannada cinema star Darshan, his associate Pavitra Gowda and 15 others are accused.
It seems Renukaswamy murder case is an open and shut case for Bengaluru police that have been waiting for FSL report. After that, the police may file the charge sheet if there is no political interference. From Bengaluru, with camera person Kumar, Nihal Khidwai for NDTV.
And well, in some more news, the government today approved the minimum support price on 14 Kharif crops. The cabinet decision was announced by Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav. He said the farmers will get around 2 lakh crore rupees as the MSP.
खरीफ सीजन स्टार्ट हो रहा है. खरीफ सीजन के लिए 14 क्रॉप्स पे मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस आज कैबिनेट ने अप्रूव किया है. एवरी क्रॉप that I am going to read out will have at least 50% more MSP compared to the cost. धान का नया MSP पैडी का नया MSP खरीफ के लिए 2,300 rupees डिक्लेयर किया गया है, which is 117 rupees increment over the previous MSP.
Big decision by the Union Cabinet there. Meanwhile, some more news now. A delegation of US lawmakers, including former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, met the exiled Tibetan spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, in Himachal Pradesh, Dharamshala. The unprecedented meeting, facilitated by India, angered Beijing, which urged the US to recognize the anti-China and separatist nature of the Dalai clique and warned against wrong messaging. But in allowing this meeting, was India also sending a message to China?
A bipartisan delegation of US lawmakers meeting the Dalai Lama in Dharamshala at the headquarters of the Tibetan government in exile the unprecedented visit facilitated by India. The US group gave an assurance that President Biden will soon sign the Resolve Tibet Act, aimed at enhancing US support for resolving the Tibet dispute with China.
His Holiness the Dalai Lama, with his message of knowledge and tradition and compassion and purity of soul and love, he will live a long time and his legacy will live forever. But to you, President of China, you'll be gone and nobody will give you credit for anything.
The delegation also said they would not let China decide on the Dalai Lama's successor.
And I tell our Chinese friends, this message is for you because you're waiting for this Dalai Lama to die. They are not bothered about the living 14th Dalai Lama, but they are more concerned about the yet to come 15th Dalai Lama to use the reincarnation as a political tool.
But allowing the visit by the US group on Indian soil, a not so subtle message to China. The Modi government making it clear to the Chinese that non-resolution of the boundary crisis can result into many thorny issues coming to the fore. The Chinese embassy in India already had a shock reaction. They posted, "We urge the US side to fully recognize the anti-China separatist nature of the Dalai group, honor the commitments the US has made to China, stop sending the wrong signal to the world." The Dalai Lama, who will be visiting the US soon for medical treatment, had a message of peace.
We should take care of this world. World, irrespective of what religion, what tradition.
In recent months, there have been attempts to normalize strained ties with China, but this visit could lead to a backlash. Gargi Rawat for NDTV.
All right, with that, it's time to wrap this edition. More news and updates on the other side. Keep watching.